oh my God, Matilda, what is that on your face? Spill the tea. Well, first of all, I did just that. I spilled the tea like 4 days ago, right on my face. On this side, however, this is completely unrelated. Here, I poked myself with something sharp, and now I'm having trouble healing it, which is different to this poking, completely separate. I poked myself with something else, and the culmination for my injuries for the week has been me slamming my finger in my dog's kennel yesterday. I started cursing because that's my go-to in times of great stress. I started cursing. Kira noticed my distress. She tried to offer comfort, all while my finger is just stuck between the two parts. It's metal. It hurt. Yeah, it is not my week nor my month. Hence, this November book wrap-up will be rather short, I am sure.
Intro?
Let's start with the titular Horny Christians. The book that I read about them was My Forbidden Bodyguard by CAMI CHECKETTS. I have been disappointed in the romance genre lately, and I've grown tired of unsexy sexy scenes in books. So I thought, how can I read a romantic story, which is not Jane Austen, without any sexy scenes? Of course, Christian romance. The cover for My Forbidden Bodyguard is a little horny, but I thought, why not? I might as well try it. So I started reading it, and I have to say, those are the horniest Christians I've ever seen. And kudos to them, I guess. I mean, there is no, of course, on page 6, but the way that these people lust after each other, kinda atypical, I have to say. Ew. So this is a lemonade made with pigwa or pigwa, if you want to Google it. It's a fruit. It's very sour. No, it's kind of gross. Yeah. Horny Christians, as I said. But the trouble with the book is, first of all, another interesting choice was having the book narrated by a man. It is a dual point of view book, which is very common in romance novels. So we switch perspectives between the guy and the girl. And both of them are read by the guy, who does not really differentiate too much between the voices. He raises his voice for the female just slightly, but I don't know, it's intriguing. You know, I think it's a valid choice and it intrigued me. But what made this book terrible, because it is the sleaziness of the guy. The guy was so creepy, so gross, that my tubes tied themselves while I was reading the book. I was planning to pursue a doctorate as a form of birth control because it's been statistically proven to be a man repellent. However, if you don't have the time, money, or don't want to commit to getting a doctorate, you might as well read this book because it is that gross. The trouble with this guy is that he broke the heroine's trust. He never ever fulfills any promise that he makes to her. The main one being she doesn't want him to touch her. But he keeps touching, stroking, hugging, caressing, everything, the girl, against her will. And the trope within the book is that, you know, her body betrays her and she succumbs to the pleasure of it. But she still has the trust issues, and she still cannot really relax around him because she doesn't trust him. And he never even considers just doing what she needs him to do to regain her trust. She already loves him, she just needs time and space and some respect. She doesn't get any till the end of the book. So yeah, 1 star. I thought I would have to give it at least 2 stars because it's quite coherent, but it is also very repetitive. Certain sentiments are almost word for word repeated anytime the character relieves it. So 1 star for my secret, my shameful, my forbidden bodyguard. I also read a book and a half by Z.A. Maxfield, Jacob's Ladder, which I love because of the biblical title, and the Book of Daniel, which also sounds vaguely Bible-like. Those are both gay romances. There's plenty of horniness in them. The first one has Jewish characters. I cannot really say how sensitive the portrayal was, but it did speak about some struggles with homosexuality and being Jewish while having conservative family. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It was... Nie, Kira, na miejsce, chodź tutaj. Hop, hop, tu. Tak, proszę się położyć. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It was an okay read. However, the second one, Book of Daniel, speaks about Jacob's. Was there a Jacob in Jacob's Ladder? One of the main characters' brother, who's also a sleazebag, but not because he disrespected his wife by touching her. He actually, in this particular case, he was respectful, but he was a cheater. He cheated on her with men. She cheated on him as well. And the book is weirdly structured because he starts the book as a morally corrupt character wanting to make amends, but he's not making them to his wife, who they also, of course, have to demonize, because if his wife has not been quantifiably worse than him, we would not really be invested in him, forgiving him. So he instead has to do everything to become a morally upstanding person in the eyes of his prospective lover, and that's not a thing I want to deal with. There's also this part about your body betraying you in them, because the guys are so hot that they just cannot keep their hands away from each other. And is it relatable to anyone not being able to control yourself in presence of great beauty? I've been thinking about it, whether I would be able to control myself around Henry Cavill, and of course I would. The guy had an 18-year-old girlfriend. Dun, dun, dun. Which is plenty sleazy, and the sleaze keeps him down on earth with us other worms. So yeah, every beautiful person you encountered also did something gross, I'm sure. They picked their nose at least 5 times in their life, I'm sure. Can you not control your... Never mind. Let's move on to another book. WILDFIRE by Ilona Andrews. Did I read 2? Yeah. WILDFIRE by Ilona Andrews was the ending book in Nevada Baylor trilogy, which is going to be part of a 9-book, I imagine, saga about each Baylor sister. And the second, and I've also read Sapphire Flames, which is the first Catalina Baylor book. WILDFIRE was a satisfying enough wrap-up. And in general, I don't think I rated the books. I think I would give the first 2 books in Nevada Baylor installment 4 stars, the last one 3 stars, but the first book in Catalina Baylor I would give 2 stars, because I read a lot of books by Ilona Andrews. It's the 3rd series that I started, the Catalina Baylor one, and they have this trope, this style of writing, where their main character, main girl, comes into some power, and she dates, of course, the alpha top dog. But here, both Catalina and Nevada exist in the same universe, and I thought it would be interesting because we already know that Nevada's hubby is the alpha dog, so I was kind of intrigued how they would handle Catalina and the other guy not being the best. I thought that it would be interesting to sort of follow vice presidents or betas or of that world. But how they handle this is they completely invalidated and dismissed the status of these previous 2 characters in order to elevate Catalina as the new top dog girl, and we have that to look forward to when they start writing about the 3rd sister. So all the cliches of their writing came out in this book, so I couldn't really enjoy it all that much. Also, there is a little bit of character inconsistency, because sometimes the characters do not want any help, and sometimes they accept this help because for whatever reason they feel that there won't be any strings attached. It's weird. 2 stars. I don't like it. And the last book that I read this month was Tove Janssen's Sculptor's Daughter. It is somewhat autobiographical, and this is a 5-star book, 4 or 5. I am not sure. Let's say go with 4.5, because I think I would like to keep 5 with books that kind of are perfect. And with all my love for Tove Jansson, I don't think that this book is going to be super relevant for me, or maybe not. I don't know. Okay, I'll give it a 10 out of 5. Anyhow, this is a semi-autobiographical recount of Tove Jansson's childhood at different periods in her life. She utilizes this magical realism convention because we don't really know where the reality starts and childhood exaggerations end. The language that she utilizes, mind you, this is translated into Polish, but the language that she utilizes is beautiful, and the stories that she recounts are very relatable, even though I have not been a child in, 50s Finland. Some things about childhood just stick to you and are always the same. The way that you, for example, perceive certain types of people, what you consider beautiful. I really liked a story inside, because this is a collection of stories. I really liked the story inside it, where she talked about how beautiful one cook that they had was. I really love this book. So yeah, I think 5 stars is justified. And with that, I thank you for joining me for this video. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you feel like hanging out more, subscribe here, maybe like the video, leave a comment, I don't know. You can also follow me on Reddit, where I stream regularly, so you can head over and have a chat with me on Sunday. If you really liked it, consider supporting me. There's a link to PayPal donations in the description box. And as an outro, I will now demonstrate what happens whenever I hurt myself in my house with my dog. Okay, so... Oh wow! I'm taking a mental health day. I'm going to go and binge watch Arcane.